Well, it's hard to think of Israel as a thug because really what characterizes Israel's behavior over the last 10 years is astonishing restraint. It's hard for me to think of any country where 1 million people, a seventh of the population, would sit repeatedly forced to go into bomb shelters, repeatedly forced for their kids not to go to school.
But the
because you
Palestinians don't have an easy ride, do they? They are
also
also targeted by Israeli force.
Well, actually not. The fact is, if you remember, 7 years ago, Israel pulled out of every inch of Gaza, removed 9,000. No, actually not. Removed every single settlement, its schools, its kindergartens, its hospitals, to give the Palestinians a chance to take root. We left behind just our greenhouses so that they would have some agriculture. Hamas took over, trashed the greenhouses, and started waging a war of missiles and rockets on Israel. We have been sitting with restraint. We had, since the beginning of the year, over 800 rockets and missiles. Just this week, we've had hundreds and hundreds. And I don't think any country in that situation could sit still and do nothing.
We're hearing both sides here, but also there are innocents being killed on both sides. So surely, as you well know, getting back to the discussion table is the way to sort this out.
Well, I think you're absolutely right. Ideally, what we want to see is a peace treaty. That's what we've been trying to do with the Palestinian Authority in Ramallah, where we've been saying, come to the negotiating table. Unfortunately, in Hamas, in the Gaza Strip, we have a group that is dedicated to the destruction of Israel.
But you have to talk to them.
Our position is the same as the United Kingdom here, which is the fact is, unlike the Palestinian Authority, Hamas, until it accepts some basic ground rules, which is accepting that we have a right to exist and renouncing the use of violence, the fact is, it's true that you make peace by talking to your enemies, but you only talk to the enemies that are interested in reaching peace. If the enemies define themselves by your destruction, it's very difficult. And also, as far as the tragedy of the civilians of Gaza, and we really have to look at the strategy of Hamas, which is to place its weapons launchers in the heart of civilian areas, in schools, close to hospitals. That's a tragic situation, but not responding obviously isn't an answer.